Hey Guru Nation, how's it going? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. New studies. What happens when you get a new study as a site? As a site, you get a regulatory packet and you get a CTA, which is a clinical trial agreement, and a budget. Now, sounds simple. It's about a 2-week process for both. Here's why. Let's go with the CTA and budget first. There's negotiations. You got to figure out what's fair market value, what works for the site, what the PI wants to see. There's a lot of back and forth. We have my colleague, my business partner, Chris Sauber. He negotiates all of our budgets and also for all of our clients with DSCS, Sweat Equity and Investments, DBA, DSCS CRO. There's a separate video. We've done webinars on contracts and budgets. Let's focus now on the regulatory. So on the regulatory side, there are all the forms. There's the 1572, there's the financial disclosure form for the PI and all the sub-Is. You have to send everyone's CV, you have to send everyone's license, everyone's GCP, CLIA waivers. If you're using a local IRB, your local IRB stuff. If you're using local labs, your local lab stuff. There are usually trainings involved with new studies that usually come with, or at least concurrently with, regulatory startup packets. There's also the informed consent template and the IRB template. And I think for the most part, that's it. Once you do those basic things, which again probably takes 2 weeks. Why? Because you need the PI and all those staff members to sign those things, and then training takes time. And in my case, here's the frustrating thing about it. Technology is supposed to help speed up this process. It actually makes it slower in many cases. So here's a perfect example. We just got a new study. I'm here today. I was working from home because we had a patient that screen failed today, so there was no reason for me to come in the office. I'm literally willing and able and trying to get this regulatory packet done. And they're using this e-portal to do all the regulatory, or to even access the regulatory. And my account's locked. I can't get in. Nobody from the CRO is able to figure out why. They tell me to ask the help desk. It would have been so much quicker. It turns out I just asked them to add one of my other staff members to get access, so within 2 days she'll get access. She's the main regulatory person. Shout out to her, Samantha Anderson. You've probably seen her on the videos before. If somebody would have just sent me a zip file with the document templates, it would have been so much easier, right? So much easier to do these things. Like, it's not hard to upload. And I'll give the CRO this. It was easy to send them the licenses, CVs, GCP of the PI, and the RW9 form, which is our, for tax purposes, for the contract and budget. It was relatively easy. I just replied to an email and attached all of those things, so that was easy. I already had those in Creo. But just getting the 1572 template, right? Like, I don't know what central IRB they're using yet. They haven't told me. I don't know what central lab they're using yet. We haven't even been trained or told anything about it. So there's no way I could fill out those parts of the 1572. Because I can just Google 1572 template and get one off the internet. But a lot of those boxes need to be pre-filled by the sponsor. So that's why I need that particular template that they have. It would have been so much easier to just email me one. So anyways, that's startup regulatory. There's a lot more. Once you get those things done, there's IRB approval. You do it through the IRB website. That's relatively simple enough, probably a 30-minute process. The IRB is going to ask you about the site, how many coordinators, who the PI is, how many years of experience, 24-hour numbers for the informed consent, what you plan on paying the patients, community sentiment towards research. It's about a 20-page application, initial site application. Again, relatively simple. So it's not a difficult process. It's just there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of signatures required. The date formats need to be a certain way. Like, one of our sub-Is signed it incorrectly with the wrong date format, so they got to re-sign it. But for the most part, like, if these technology like portals would actually work, it would be a lot quicker. More often than not, they're just a hindrance. They're another login you need, and you're only going to use it at startup. So like, what's the point of even registering an account if you're only going to use it one time and then that's it? Because for regulatory maintenance, you have the ISF, which is an actual physical file, and we use Creo. So unless they give us new regulatory documents through this portal, which I really hope they don't, because I still haven't figured out how to get access to it, it's just a long process. It's a lot of like unnecessary work that definitely could be streamlined. But anyways, a lot of people are trying, but at the end of the day, I think nothing really replaces like email a zip file, download the forms, get everyone to sign them in 1 day or 2 days, 2 weeks at the most. It is 4th of July weekend, so my PI is actually out of town right now. That's startup regulatory. Financial disclosure form 1572, CVs of all the staff, IRB approval, informed consent templates, contract and budgets, which is technically not part of regulatory, but it is. They might ask you for your process of consent SOP, your other SOPs. They might ask for individual training forms. There's a training I actually have to go in and do right now for one of our other studies. We actually have 2 studies. We're in the startup regulatory mode for both of them. So yeah, it's like, sounds like a lot, but it's actually simple. Once you actually, like prior to SIV, you get the investigator site file on site. So then you have a delegation of duties log, a training log. You start having different sections of the ISF, investigator site file, starting to get filled out, like when SUSARs start coming in and things like that. So at the end of the day, regulatory is not that hard, and it's a lot easier if you have less staff. It's a lot harder if you're a bigger institution, like an academic medical center. So that's startup regulatory in a nutshell, startup contract in a nutshell, and a little bit of ranting in a nutshell. Thank you, Guru Nation. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Bye-bye.